What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Media Goose channel. It is I, the Media Goose, your friend Ryan, and the goose is loose, baby. Ha! And I am here today with my second review in the MCU. I am here to talk about The Incredible Hulk, a movie that I think gets an unfair reputation. But before I get into the movie, I just want to share a little bit about my connection with the Hulk. When I was a kid, Batman was the one above all for superheroes. He was like bigger than DC or Marvel for me. I loved the movies and I loved the animated series, but the second character for me was the Hulk. Always. I was obsessed with the Hulk. Anytime he showed up in a Marvel animated series, I think he had an animated series for a little bit in the 90s. Hulk was just always my favorite. I I felt more similar, like I saw more of myself in the Hulk than I saw in any other hero. And I was like a really sweet kid. I wasn't a fighter, but I got into fights sometimes, and like that became a thing in my head where it was like something I don't want to do, but if I have to, I will. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the Hulk and his experience. The Hulk, it's like Jekyll and Hyde. It's a monster. And this movie does a great job of really treating the Hulk like a monster, like a horror character. And getting away from that is one of the things that really deteriorated the character of the Hulk in Marvel. I've never enjoyed the way they've handled the Hulk. When the MCU first started, I wasn't seeing all of the MCU movies as they came out. I was an Iron Man fan, so I saw Iron Man 1, I saw Iron Man 2, I saw Iron Man 3. I didn't see the Avengers because at that point, I think I would have been like a senior in high school. I wasn't as much of a nerd as I am now. Like, I was kind of, I don't know, I was in high school. I was less mature, less comfortable with myself, and I was less open about the things I enjoyed because I didn't want to be considered like a nerd, I guess. But watching those movies, the Hulk always felt different. Like that was never my Hulk, the Mark Ruffalo version. I saw the Avengers for the first time my freshman year of college, and that was like a year after it had come out. And I remember liking the movie, but being disappointed by the adaptation of the Hulk. And I'm sure I'm going to get people that don't like that opinion because people love Mark Ruffalo. And so do I. He's an amazing actor. I think he does well. I just don't see him as. It's kind of like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Like, yeah, you're doing a character well, but I don't see that as Peter Parker Spider-Man in the same way I don't really see Ruffalo as Bruce Banner Hulk. He feels so different from the Hulk we got in the Incredible Hulk movie. It's kind of like Whiplash. But now I'm going to get into this movie. So one of the things I talked about with the Iron Man review was how after the 30-minute mark, the origin story was over. I didn't think you could be more efficient than that, but in the Incredible Hulk movie, they do his entire origin in the opening credits. And I think that's really great. What took 30 minutes in Iron Man took 4 minutes in the Hulk. And we just jump right into things with the Hulk on the run, with Bruce Banner on the run. And it says he's like 150 days without an incident. So you're already getting this clear, you're feeling the consequences of him being the Hulk. And in the origin story, it shows you how he almost killed Betty. And that is the thing that sends him into hiding and into isolation. You also find out later in the movie that the military, Ross, lied to Bruce to get him to work on the gamma radiation. They told him it was for a different reason than it was because they knew he wouldn't do the work if he knew it was to be ultimately weaponized. And I just really loved the beginning. After the opening credits, we jump in with the Hulk, and he's trying to keep a low profile in a warehouse. And you can see his struggle with wanting to be a hero and needing to preserve his own safety, his sense of control over this monster within him. It's very much Jekyll and Hyde in that way, where life is lived to suppress that inner monster. And it's really great. Then we see the Hulk training in like with an MMA fighter to work on breathing exercises, and he's in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, which is where there's like a lot. I think the Gracies might be from Rio. There's like a lot of background in mixed martial arts in that area, so him going there kind of makes sense so he can focus on those things. I've got my notes in front of me as well. I just want to make sure I'm hitting points. Let's see. Then we start to see that the military is still after the Hulk and General Ross. This movie, General Ross is... It's crazy that they kind of try to make him, like, nicer in the Avengers, or, like, when they introduce him later. But in this movie, he is, like, a hard-ass villain, like, putting lives in danger for his own gain. He's really great in this movie. It's, like, 23 minutes in the first time we see the Hulk, and it's a combination of the military converging on him in combination with these people that were like bullying him at work essentially, and it draws out the Hulk, and it's treated like a monster movie. It's treated the way it should be. Horror. It's horrifying. It's a monster. It's just great. I thought it was really wonderful, and Emil Blonsky is a fantastic character, I thought. I really enjoyed the kind of putting Bruce and him on alternate paths going forward, and they're both being manipulated in different ways. Blonsky being kind of the idealized military man. The, yes, sir, thank you, sir, what do you need me to do, sir? He's kind of the opposite of Steve Rogers, which the fact that this is connected to the super soldier serum, we see him go into a cryo lab and get out an old serum. I like that because part of the Captain America lore is that the serum amplifies what is already within you. So for the Abomination, Blonsky, it goes poorly. It doesn't create a Captain America like super soldier. It creates an Abomination, and I really loved that. This is before Captain America, but it's already kind of setting the stage for Captain America to come in because of the super soldier serum. And I like the fact that Blonsky is kind of the person Ross wish had the Hulk within him. There's a conversation Ross and Blonsky have where he says, he's not one of us. He's not a military man. He's a scientist. He's concerned with morals and ethics. And I think that really does a great job in highlighting the impact that the Hulk would have. The fact that Ross even says, I think the Hulk, his entire body is property of the government. And this idea of the Hulk as property to own, when this is a person. I really loved that as well. This whole movie, I was shocked how good it all was. I have seen this movie before, but I don't know that I've ever seen it in its entirety. It was one of those movies where, like, I'd catch it if it was on TNT or USA on TV, but I never went out of my way to watch it in its entirety. I think I might have seen the Ang Lee, Eric Bana Hulk and, like, conflated those two, because that's a pretty boring movie. This is not. This is a really good movie, and I think what ended up happening with Edward Norton, I feel like the perception of this movie is altered and kind of manipulated. and they kind of tried to write it out of Marvel until Brave New World recently, which is basically a sequel to this movie. It's just crazy to me going back and watching this and really enjoying it, because it was such like a forgotten, moved past, marginalized piece of the MCU's history, and it's wonderful. I think I think that Edward Norton gives an incredible performance. Genuinely, I think Edward Norton's performance in this movie is a leading man, and Mark Ruffalo is an ensemble member. I'm not going to go through the entire plot of the movie. I'm just going to talk to you about the things I feel now. Um, this movie kind of felt Batman Begins or The Dark Knight. Like, it felt, if Iron Man is here and the Nolan movies are here, this feels closer to the Nolan movies than it did to Iron Man tonally. Iron Man was allowed to be humorous and comedic and like a blockbuster in the way that it was treated, where this is not that. And apparently Marvel really wanted it to be a blockbuster, more of like a summer movie, where Edward Norton wanted it to be a deep psychological movie. And I'm like, he was right. I'm sorry. Edward Norton had a better vision than Marvel, in my opinion. I don't like Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. And I know that won't be popular because he's an amazing human being. He's not an amazing Hulk. I mean, he's a terrible Hulk because of how they've made the Hulk in Marvel. But I don't even like his banner compared to Edward Norton's. I didn't like them turning Bruce Banner fully into like nerd scientist. It almost felt similar to what I said about Toby as Spider-Man. Like, kind of hokey, too one note. I never enjoyed Ruffalo's Hulk the way I enjoyed Edward Norton's. I'm pointing this way because I have some notes pointed over there. But I genuinely just think Edward Norton is so much better as this character. And I really feel like going from Edward Norton was a choice that took the Hulk from a leading character. I feel like Edward Norton's Hulk felt like a tragic Shakespearean hero, and it turned him into an ensemble member. And I don't like that, because there are two characters in Marvel that, in my opinion, the intellectual property are big enough to be their own in the way that Batman is. And it's Superman and or Spider-Man and the Hulk. And you didn't have Spider-Man at the beginning of the MCU, so you should have made the Hulk your lead. Him and Tony should have been co-leads of your universe, where Tony was like the charismatic one, and then Banner, was like the darker, grittier one. And then you can have Cap come in as the Boy Scout, and now they kind of exist on a spectrum, rather than the Hulk becoming, I don't know, a supporting character. The Hulk was never treated as a lead character again, and I think the recasting to Mark Ruffalo was part of that. Edward Norton, I don't know, I just really was shocked at how much I loved this movie. When I think I might have taken all of the stuff, the like, I don't know what, the public thoughts on a movie. I watch a lot of movie reviews. I watch YouTubers watching movies, which is weird, I know, but I enjoy it. I like feeling like I'm watching something with somebody and getting other reactions. But I just had such an idea of what this movie was going to be, and it wasn't. It was another good movie. And the way that I said Iron Man was a singular good movie first, so is this. And I think that Marvel and the Machine did everything it could to make this movie disappear, to make Edward Norton out to be a bad guy, which I don't know enough, but I know he doesn't have a great reputation in Hollywood, which I don't think having a good or bad reputation in Hollywood should make your decision about a person. because the things we've seen about the higher ups and the elites, I don't want to be chosen by them. I don't want to be loved by them. You know what I mean? Like, I think Edward Norton was fighting for this character to remain what he is, a leading character, a franchise leading worthy character. And them going to Mark Ruffalo was a decision that the Hulk would never be that again. And he hasn't been. They've never done another movie with him. And when he is there, he's a buddy cop. He's comedic relief. And that breaks my heart because that's not the Hulk. The Hulk is Jekyll and Hyde. The Hulk is a monster movie. The Hulk is anything but an ensemble character. The Hulk is what Edward Norton saw him as, more than what Ruffalo or Marvel saw him as. And I don't care if that isn't a popular opinion. It's the truth. I know Ruffalo's a great guy standing up for the things, and he's a great actor. Spotlight was breathtaking. But that doesn't mean everything somebody does has to be right or better or superior. In my opinion, this is a really good movie that Marvel wanted to forget and move past because they didn't like working with Edward Norton and they wanted an easier actor to work with, which I suppose is understandable, but it's crazy how much better Edward Norton was. And if it were up to me, I'd bring him back and make him the villain of an Avengers movie. I think the Mark Ruffalo Hulk feels so tonally different, you could spin it some way that something happened in universe for that change, and this Hulk comes back. Maybe when Savage Hulk is tapped into, you could somehow connect it to the Hulk that Edward Norton was playing. Like, they're connected somehow. I don't know, but I want this Hulk back. And I think this Hulk could be the villain of an Avengers movie. This Hulk could be a world-ending threat. Or he could be the lead of a universe and a franchise. And instead, they just went to Mark Ruffalo and ensemble kind of sensibilities, and I hated that. So, despite what everybody might tell you, The Incredible Hulk is a really good movie. I think that it is balanced tonally in a really good way. I like the presence of the military industrial complex still present like it was in Iron Man. This movie feels more like Iron Man than Marvel wants you to remember. This movie could have been crucial in the continued development of Marvel, and instead they just kind of cut it off and annexed it. And I hate that decision because this is a really good movie, and it's the best the Hulk has ever been in the MCU. So, guys, let me know down below what you thought of The Incredible Hulk. Am I wrong? Is Ruffalo better? I don't think so. I think Edward Norton could act circles around Mark Ruffalo. And Ruffalo's a great actor, but I think Edward Norton might be one of the best actors alive. And I don't like giving method actors credit. I think method acting is like a stunt. It's like toxic masculinity within acting. You don't need to go that far. So I don't like to credit people that do that stuff, but I gotta be honest, this is better than anybody wants you to remember it was. Please, go back and watch The Incredible Hulk. At the end of this phase, I'm gonna rank the movies. At the end of every phase, I'll re-rank them. Y'all are gonna be shocked how close The Incredible Hulk is to Iron Man. Thank you guys so much. Like the video, comment, subscribe, and share as well. The Goose is out. Ha!